I would like I'd like to give Doug a minute here as the pastor, spiritual guidance. I talked to him this morning if there was anything that was how things were going, if anything he needed to share. He thought things were going fine, but I'll just give you a minute maybe to just share, help us keep our focus right from the beginning here.
I do want to thank you all. Hello. Thank you all for the spirit in which you've been gathering and the spirit in which we've been able to share together. There's so much in this world that leads to contention. We find so many aspects of our lives are divided, and so often seems as though there's no way that there can be any cross to that divide, and any attempt is thought of as being traitorous or treasonous to a cause. And the Lord is the bridge for all of those contentions. The Lord is the bridge for all of the disturbances and the feelings that we have that are not of Him. As I've seen us gathering here this week, I think I've seen that spirit be of effect in our lives. In our sessions yesterday, there were times when contention could have been risen, but instead we chose a different path. And that really is what it comes down to. Remember the scripture when Jesus, John 17, was praying for his disciples. And if you read that, he prayed, Lord, I pray that they might be one. Not, Lord, make them one, but, Lord, make it that they may be one. And that's his desire for us today. He's not going to make us one. He's not going to make us of one heart and one mind. We're not going to be forced into it. The Lord has never forced his people into it. But he gives us the opportunity. And that's what my prayer has been for this week and for the church and for the work of the kingdom, is that we would take advantage of the opportunity that the Lord gives us to have that oneness. If we're not one, we're not his. But he isn't going to force it. And we can't force it. We can't shame people into it. We can't bully people into it. All we can do is love people into it. As we were reminded yesterday, if we will focus on that love, focus on the Lord's desire for us, then this week will be a success. And the progress that the Lord wants us to make will be made. So I just want us to keep our focus on that love. Focus on what the Lord desires for us, not what we desire. We may have good desires, but it's what the Lord desires that is going to make the difference in this world. I'm always reminded of the people who ask, well, how can there be evil in the world? How can the Lord allow such bad things to take place? Why doesn't he do something? Well, brothers and sisters, he has done something. And you are it. He sent Jesus to teach us the gospel of the kingdom. And that kingdom is the only hope for this world. If the scriptures tell us anything, it's that there is no hope except for the kingdom. And as Arthur Oakman said, unless and until the kingdom of God is a reality, there is no reason for this church. So let's keep our eyes on the goal and keep our eyes on how the Lord has told us to get there through his love. As we meet together, as we share together, as we vote together, keep our eyes on the Lord.
Thank you, Brother Doug. I was touched last night by Brother Andrew's message, talking about us being on offense and not defense. And also, we've heard so many times, even this morning, about love. And sometimes we put love as just a feeling, but love is actually an action word. It's offense. And I'm sorry, I'm one of those that make these March Madness brackets out and enjoy the basketball season and everything. And so I'd like to, I thought it was quite appropriate. It'd be nice for us to really go on offense in love and just win the whole darn tournament. That's what I think anyway. So let's, we're going to get started now. We've had a prayer. We're welcome everyone back online, and very grateful that we can all be together in spirit and in person. We'd like to begin with our minutes of yesterday. Do we got a microphone for him? Do we got an extra microphone? Okay. Yeah. You got a lot? I mean, I didn't get my copy yet. Has everybody gotten a copy of the minutes of yesterday? Okay, can we get some from, they're back here on the back table? We'll get them handed out. Let's go ahead and read them since so many don't have it.
Okay. Brian Burke offered an opening prayer. Brian Mundy read and shared some thoughts around Section 25 and related this section to how he plans to run the business sessions. Brian Mundy called the conference and this business session to order at 10:20 a.m. He then turned the chair to coordinating council chairman Larry Cottrell to take a sustaining vote to have Brian Mundy chair the conference. Brian had been voted chairman for this conference at the 2024 conference. Brian asked for, I already say, well, never mind. The sustaining vote was taken, but I didn't put that in there, so I'll add that. Brian asked for a sustaining vote for Jason Anderson to act as secretary for this conference. Jason had been voted secretary for this year at the 2024 conference. I'll make a note of that as well. Motion to approve agenda as shown in binders, section 1.4 to 1.5. Jeremy Stevenson moved. Motion seconded and approved without discussion. Motion to approve 2025 conference week budget, $16,800 as outlined in section 2.2. Ray Lane moved. Motion seconded and approved without discussion. Jay Havener read 80 names of elders accepted by the Credentials Committee so far and moved the list to be credentialed. The complete list may be found in the attached notes. Motion seconded and approved without discussion. Council reports. SEAM report shared by 70 Richard Neal. All other council reports were shared Sunday afternoon. Financial report presented by Treasurer Ray Lane. Financial report found in section 2 of binder. Brother Ray clarified that the YMC fund is no longer for Youth Missionary Corps, but for the new, as of 2024, Youth Ministry Council. Annual budget presented on page 2.5, submitted by Treasurer Ray Lane. Missionary Board budgets presented on 2.6 to 2.10. Brian Mundy asked Jason Hamilton to offer prayer for Mark Dietrich and Orville Cottrell Jr., who are struggling with health issues. Richard Neal wanted clarification regarding who would make a decision during the interconference period if opportunity arises to move the conference office. Vim Horn recommended having this agenda item come prior to voting on the budget. Question regarding conference office location. A question was asked of the conference whether the conference would like to rent or purchase office space. No vote was taken, but a request was made to gather more information on both options. There are two properties being looked at, a building owned by Dr. Zur on Truman Road and another building in front of Living Hope. Nominations for conference officers and councils.
We can, everybody's got their copy now. You can see that on your minutes there. Has everybody got the minutes now? So we're going to add names here to these parts. And so you'll see as we go onto the back page also. So is there any corrections to the minutes, Brother?
There was nothing mentioned about the seating of elders.
Okay. Jay Havener, it's right in the center. Jay Havener read 80 names of elders. So it's on there. And it was approved. We need to remember we got those online too, and so the question that was asked was about the seating of the elders, the names that were read. So if you want to share, come down to the mic, please. Also was creating some issues yesterday with us turning the mics around and everything, so please just, if you need to raise it or lower it, that's fine, but leave the mics where they are, please. So, is there any corrections to the minutes? If not, we'll declare them approved. Do we need a motion? So we'll just declare them approved without objection. Okay. How about let's go to council quorum reports now. Quorum number 1. Oh. We need to update the list first. Thank you. Let's go ahead and we'll do that next. Thank you, Jay. Would you come?
The following elders have been credentialed. Caleb Demiri from Amita, Kenya. James Yogo from Kenya. Esther Wistara from
Rwanda.
Rwanda, I'm sorry. Raylan Downey from Butler. Ed Essick from Wellington. Charles Zur from Waldo. And Buck Andrews. And those are the additional names.
Okay. And Buck was from Living Hope. I would take that as a motion, adding new names to be accepted. Is there a second to that? Brother Eric Odita. Any discussion? Those in favor of these, please show your hands. Just the elders, please. Any opposed? Okay, that passes.
I have a question.
Yep. Question. I'm sorry, we got those online that are still voting too. Feel free. Go ahead. What's your question?
Will these names be printed in the tidings? Individual names be printed in the tidings? I would request that.
Sure, we will do that. We've got, we will go ahead and present, in hopefully tomorrow's daily tidings, we will put that in there so you'll have a full list of names, so. Oh, okay, in the minutes. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll have them in the minutes, so you do have that. I believe we've got 100, okay, and we've got everybody online approved those also. Thank you very much. We have, counting everybody, Aaronic and members and so forth, we've got 134 that have registered now so far. So I'm excited about our participation. So we have that taken care of. Let's move to Quorum 1 report.
Quorum 1, we just started our discussions, as the other quorum did, on the proposed resolution. We started with number 2. After a lot of discussion, we decided to table that and have tabled it so far. Moved to resolution 3. There was discussion there, but overall it was voted on and passed. And then we started talking about resolution 1 and questions that we might ask. Didn't come to a conclusion, all those things, but the discussion was just had, and I had about 10 or 15 minutes on it. We'll continue that today.
Okay, thank you. Quorum number 2.
Quorum 2 started with resolution number 3. We read through it in its entirety. There was some discussion on the one of the be it further resolved. It was edited, and another resolve was added to the resolution. The edited portions of the resolutions were then reread, and they were voted on, accepted as edited, and it passed unanimously. We took a look at resolution number 2. Again, it was read in its entirety. We had a lengthy discussion on being sensitive to mission fields where persecution was of great concern with regards to some of the reporting issues in that, or stated in that resolution. We also discussed softening the language regarding non-compliant mission boards being removed from the CRE umbrella. What we ended up saying was that for non-compliant mission boards, they really had a choice to either comply with the reporting requirements, or by not just simply removing themselves and effectively taking on their own tax ID and financial accounts on their own. So it was not the intent was not that the conference would cut them off, but they, by non-compliance, would cut themselves off. And so we submitted that language, and that will be discussed later.
So question for you, you said you have modifications to 2 and to 3?
Yes.
Has that already been voted on in your
Yes.
quorum?
And we
Have they been
accept it. And they've
submitted?
been. You just have 3? Okay, I'll get you 2 then.
Okay. I'd like to hear from the members next. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so we had Jay Havener from Quorum 2 and Larry Cottrell from Quorum 1. While you guys were all down warm here, they were up in the frozen tundra. So, go ahead. Let me turn that around.
We were in the Antarctic, I think, yesterday. What we did, we discussed Proposition 2, and we made a suggestion that instead of the word being multiple, that there would be 3 tries, and then you strike out, okay? And the other thought was the fact that rather than expelling a group, that maybe new leadership should be put in on that particular mission, okay, or whatever may be. The other proposal, we looked at Proposal 3. We're going to be discussing that today. And also, we gave a homework assignment for Resolution number 1.
Thank you. And for the members to be aware, when it comes to the missionary boards, we do not set their boards. They have their own election, they elect their own boards. And so we can't require that to be changed, so. I'm sorry, that was John Icorn. Yeah. Okay, Ronick. Mark? Wow, you guys got a secretary in your quorum, that is good.
Mark McCormick. So we discussed both Resolution 2 and 3. For Resolution 2, we were in agreement with what we believe the intent of it to be, in that we did have one thing on the point number 4, that there needs to be, there should be appropriate accountability and transparency, but recommend the clarification on what the term consistent policies are, keeping in mind that each of the boards may have unique circumstances that for them to be able to function as they need to. But definitely admonish against anything that would cause any contention about it. That'd be the main thing that we'd be concerned about. Definitely encourage to labor with as much as possible together on that. For resolution number 3 on the gathering council, in agreement and in favor of. At the last part of it, we recommended adding the words or some sort of phrase pointing to temporally and spiritually preparing those that may be gathering in. And the last one. For resolution number 1, we did have some questions that we briefly brought up. I wouldn't say that we're submitting those quite yet, but just to advise kind of where we're thinking at the moment. We're going to be discussing these today, and we went with homework as well to pray about what questions to bring up. But we have, is God pleased or happy with us? What do we have to do for all the groups to come together to be one? Concerning our traditions, what is of man and what is of God? And then what changes do we need to make individually and then collectively before judging another person or group? And like I said, there's going to be a lot more discussion on these and whatever else the group brings today.
Thank you, that's very good. Okay, as we continue to work through our quorums on those different things, that's where we need to keep going there, and we're doing good. If you have any new business in addition to what we've got, we'll need to run that through the 2 elders' quorums. What we want to do next is we have, we're going to do our elections, but what we wanted to do first is that we've made up a nomination or election ballot, thank you guys, for the conference chairman. And Ben, could you get these here? If you're a credentialed elder, if you will raise your hand. Doug, could you hand these ones out? We'll get these here out. You have just one vote. Just check one box. Who you want to vote for the chairman. This is, and those online will, if you can send in your votes on the chat line, and Kevin, if you could get that to me, that would be good. And what we'll do is you're gonna just vote for one person for the chairman. Okay? And then after that, we will know whether how many we have to have, who will be electing for the coordinating council. So as you get yours done, we've got a couple of Aaronic priesthood. You want to come down here, guys, and we'll just start down here and just collect these right back up. If you need a pen or something, Ben, did you get it one? Okay, you need a pen? Okay, somebody around there got something? Here. Your choices are Richard Neal or Jeremy Stevenson. Sorry? Yep, they're voting right now. Okay. Do we have anybody that has not turned in their ballot yet in here? Everybody's turned them in? Huh? Yeah, you go out there and bring that in. Okay, we're going to go back to our nominations here. We have nomination for secretary. I hope you found somebody for secretary. Who would you like to have nominate for secretary? The way this is going to work, if there's any vacancies, it'll be upon the coordinating council to fill those slots, and so we don't have any, we're going to leave that open. You will? Okay.
I nominate Jason Anderson.
He volunteered and he got it, so. At our congregation, that's what we always ask, is there any volunteers or anybody want to nominate? So, okay, thank you, Jason. Yeah, send it here. Ray Lane has been nominated as treasurer. We have a vacancy on the assistant treasurer.
I nominate David Webster.
David Webster has been nominated. Are there other nominations for the assistant treasurer? Okay. And we had Danny Height as a historian. Okay. We did the missionary boards come up with their names of who they were nominating to the International Council? Okay. We'll have that later. So here's what we're going to do is on several of these here, we have just simply going to be sustaining votes. And so if it's okay with you, we're not going to make up things for you to check because it's just going to be a sustaining vote. I'm going to start, well, before I do that, we do have the domestic outreach that, I spoke with this morning. And, okay, yes, and we got those too. So let's, I wanted to wait on that until we got a number. But let's keep going here on the domestic outreach. We have You got it wrote down? Okay, thank you. On domestic outreach, we have Frank Dipple, John Icorn, Brian Mundy, Steve Kropp, and Brian Heron. Everybody that was on last year is going to be again, and so wanted to see if there are any other nominations for domestic outreach. Yeah,
Spoke to him this morning. I'd like to nominate Elder Mike Stevenson.
Mike Stevenson. Yes, Benji?
For clarification, the people that are currently on there are willing to stay on.
Yep.
Okay, and so the names that would be presented would vote on and would only be able to choose, was it 5 out of whatever names get presented? So we have 5, and now we have 6. Is that correct?
Yes, but I don't think this is one that's limited to a certain number. Do you remember, Vim? We can have as many on there as we want, and so if you have someone else that,
I would love to nominate Elder Brian Wilton.
Brian Wilson, that's with a Y.
B-R-Y-A-N-W-I-L-T-O-N.
Wilton, okay. Okay. So if any others, that's good news. We're going to increase the domestic outreach to 10 now, or 11. So that's great. So, well, I'll tell you what, let's do here. Let's see here. What one? Would you name the names? Yes, I will. I told you what my numbers I hate, 4951. We have Jeremy with 20 votes and Richard with 19. I'm going to ask you, for those that, will you support Jeremy? And if there's any opposition to that. So if there is, we're going to spend some time in prayer and we're going to seek God's guidance. And so I'm going to call for a vote, and there's going to be a negative also. And so I want you to vote how the Spirit directs you. So are you willing to sustain or support Jeremy Stevenson as the chairman? Please show your hands. Are there any opposed? Huh? Those online, would you be willing to support Jeremy Stevenson? It is unanimous. Yes.
Question.
Yep.
20 votes, that doesn't seem to count people on, or 40 votes doesn't seem to count people online. Did they turn in their?
Yes, they did. Yep. We've got everyone online that has voted also, and we have a unanimous consent. So Brother Jeremy Stevenson will be the conference chairman next year. So we want to go now to the coordinating council nominations. We have 5 slots to fill. Yesterday we had Doug Smith, Eric Odita, Howard Parker nominated. I'll open up now for nominations for the coordinating council. Brother Doug?
Doug Smith, I'd like to nominate Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Zach is in Independence. I will announce these as we go so that we have that too. Zach Wilson. Howard Parker?
I'd like to nominate Don Norman.
Don Norman. He's in Oak Grove.
Larry Cottrell, Steve Cunningham, and Dan Schwartz.
Okay. Steve Cunningham's in Iowa, and Dan Schwartz is in Belton. Anyone else? Okay. I want to read these then, Janet, make sure we got them all correct. Doug Smith, Eric Odita, Howard Parker. We have Steve Cunningham, Don Norman, and Dan Schwartz, and Zach Wilson. Any others that we have before we close this? Okay, if we could get that ballot made up. Want to go next to domestic outreach. I want to read the names then. We have Jason Anderson, Tom Mitchell, John L. Mundy, and Dale Stafford. That'll have 1 year remaining. We have Frank Dipple, John Icorn, Brian Mundy, Steve Kropp, Brian Herron, Brian Wilton, and Mike Stevenson, that I would ask for a sustaining vote for those brothers on the domestic outreach. I'm going to list these again for those online. Just simply the new ones that we're adding will be Frank Dipple, John Icorn, Brian Mundy, Steve Kropp, Brian Herron, Brian Wilton, and Mike Stevenson. So I ask for a sustaining vote for those for the domestic outreach. Please show your hands. Any opposed? It's unanimous on that. The next is the Youth Council. They were all appointed last year, and so this year we divided them into 2-year and 1-year terms. So for a 2-year term, we have Spencer Hughes, Sam Jordanson, Zoe Jordanson, and Josh Pedersen. And a 1-year term is Emma Gilmore, Adele, is that right? Hall, Kelvin Henson, and Stephen Henson. I'll ask for a sustaining vote for the Youth Council. Those in favor, please show your hands. And any opposed? Passes unanimous. For the Publications Council, we have 3 positions open, and those nominated is April Smith, Jason Hamilton, and Sandra Mosier. We'll have a sustaining vote on those. Those in favor of supporting April Smith, Jason Hamilton, and Sandra Mosier, please show your hands. Any opposed? Yep, they are. Yes, and online passes also. So the new ones will have 2-year terms and the other ones have a 1-year term. The Women's Council, in speaking with them, they had one-year term that Kristen that was is not able to fulfill this next year, and so they are going to put Amy Burke in that spot, and then Angie Goff, Monica Rush, Michelle Turner, and Jennifer Shrunk would be for 2-year terms. Those in favor of supporting the Women's Council positions, please show your hands. Any opposed? Yep, okay. And online also approves. Education Council, before we name the names, well, we're gonna add those after the Aaronic Council gets together and they'll add somebody. I think that's where we left it yesterday, didn't we? Right. Did you guys already picked one? Okay, who did you want? Sam McLean. Okay. So the Aaronic Council has selected Sam McLean to fill that spot. And we still have an opening left. Is there someone else that you would like to nominate or volunteer to be on the Education Council? Anyone online? Okay, if not, we can, again, that can get added at a later time. So I'm gonna ask for a sustaining vote for Andrew King, Aaron Pressler, and Sam McLean for the Education Council. Those in favor, show your hands. Any opposed? The online approves also. The Aaronic Council, I'm not sure I got all these wrote down. Let me get to my minutes. Jason, you got, I got it here. I've got Chris Cunningham, Stephen Henson, Henry Trickett, Wilbur Wilson, Sam McLean, Justin somebody? Justin who? Oh, he got them all. Thank you. These are the ones we got: James Andrews, Johnny McGowan, Mark McCormick, Dustin Mason. Those in favor of sustaining the Aaronic Council, please show your hands. Any opposed? Okay, passed online too. Now, what we did not do yesterday, we did not fill the Technology Council. Who do we have that's on that council right now? You? Are you on it? Yeah, I was. Don? I'm not going to be on it. No. Don? I was on it, I dropped out. Okay. Hey, Kevin, do we have a list of who's on the Technology Council currently, or who we want to nominate, or who's the chairman of that council? Sean is? Does he have a list of people he wanted? Chantel, John, I don't know if you're online or not, but if you, what we may do on that is we can come back to that, but we need to be thinking about that. Yes, I am.
Messages coming in from Sean right now. Vin Horn, Andrew Neal, Spencer Hughes, there's no official chairperson.
Okay. Okay, we will get with Sean then and see what we need to do on that and get back with you. When Janet gets back with the ballot for the coordinating council, we'll come back to that. So, let's go to section 2 for the financial reports. And Brother Ray, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to say you're going to move the budget. Is that okay? You- Okay, so let me tell you what I found out yesterday. The building committee, the board for the building by Living Hope is not going to be able to meet until Thursday night, and so they don't have any answers for us on any of that. Is Brother Zur here? There was a question raised yesterday, Doc, about the roof. Has the roof been repaired? No? I can't hear you. There's a leak in the roof. Okay. So we really don't have the information now, and so it's more like we were saying yesterday, the coordinating council or something. So, Brother Vim?
Yeah, I would just offer a motion that we go forward with the budget, and then if there's information that we get later on, that we just bring it up and amend the budget if necessary for based on that information.
Okay. And so the motion is to just go ahead and proceed with the budget as presented to you. And if we get more information, we can amend that at a later time. So I'm going, is there a second to that motion? Okay, Brother Ray seconds it. This is just simply then to bring it to the floor? Or can we, what do you think, Brother Bim?
Well, I think the budget's before us.
Okay.
And so basically, if we want to move on it without having that information, what this is just saying is let's go ahead and handle the budget as is. And then if there is a need, we can always return back to it. And, I don't know that we need to vote on it, but that's just a motion or something to get us beyond being hamstrung.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, are we in agreement there, guys? Oh, okay. So we're going to deal with the budget right now, okay? So since we've already started this, we're ready to take the votes on the other thing too, but we're going to go ahead and bring the budget before you. So if you go to page 5 in section 2, you'll have the general budget for us, and we'll have it before you now. And so, Brother Ray, is there anything you want to share more?
Basically, the proposed budget was based off of what the expenses were last year, and and knowing some of the things that are coming up, like the rent and different things that are going to be rise. So I've increased, according to what I saw as far as expenditures for the thing. That's where I basically come up with a budget, tried to keep it as tight as possible because of income and that we, don't try to exceed any more than what we've, it's slightly more than what we received last year, but yeah, it's still not. A couple of years ago, we were allowed to go 110% over what we received. That's less than that. So I tried to keep it as close as possible to the belt economically for us.
Yes. Okay, so actual income last year was 57,088, and the proposed budget is 55,000. We had actual expenses last year of 47,984. So does anyone have any modifications to the budget? Brother Jay? Same online. If you have, I hope you're able to see the books. They're all online. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.
So I'm looking at the line item for publications. It was initially 12,000. It was spent 19 with a almost $7,000 loss, but we're only budgeting $18,000. That seems a little concerning.
That's not really a loss. What that means is that we actually went over. We had more income than what we budgeted. We budgeted 12.7. We had income of 12.8, so we actually had more income. On that top side is the income side, and the bottom side is the expense side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So just, when I look at parentheses, I always think of a net loss.
Yeah. It tied to the budget, so I apologize. Any other questions or changes to the budget? Okay, then I'm going to call for a vote. Those in favor of supporting the budget as before you on page 5, please show your hands. Any opposed? Okay, it passes. Okay. We're going to have vote now for the coordinating council. Here, I got that. No, I will in a minute. Okay, and we're going to be a minute here for those online too. We're getting the ballot out to them. Now, the way this is going to work is that we have to have 2 internationals. So don't worry about that with your voting at this point. We will see, hopefully, we got to select 5, I believe. 5? Okay. So you'll vote for 5, only 5. If you vote for 6, your whole page is going to be thrown in the trash. I haven't turned it in yet. Here's a blank one. You want a blank one? Thank you. Well, I get to vote a whole bunch of times. Thank you. and give those to Jason when you get your counts together. When we get the count online too, just send that to Jason, Kevin.
Is that everyone?
Has everyone filled out their ballots now? Okay. Online, getting theirs together. Okay. We're going to go back to section 2. We're going to go to page 6. This is the ARM budget. Is there anybody from ARM here that would like to address anything on the ARM budget? Biggest thing I will tell you is, as was shared yesterday, we have a great deal of no, I'm sorry, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Those online, we need to go ahead and get your votes turned in, and we're counting in here too, and we'll add yours to them. So we have restricted funds with Kenya, or with ARM, an awful lot, and it has really tied them down a great deal, which has affected their local budgets. And what we don't realize here a lot of the times is the local budgets is probably, and Eric, I may be incorrect in this statement, but I think personally is probably more important than us sending a missionary team over there, because they are the ones that got to keep the work going forward. And I'm not saying that us going is not important, but what is happening is that congregations will support them sending missionaries over, but we are not getting the local budget funds taken care of. And I don't know if ARM has gotten their quantities together, but my understanding is we got about 7,000 members in Kenya. Is that correct now? Over 6,000 members, and we got a lot of priesthood and everything all over the place. And so they do the most missionary work. We come over there, like Don and his wife went over there, spent a month and provided so much ministry, and others have done the same. But it's the local budget is extremely important for us to be able to continue to see the work grow over there. Because if the work only grows when we send missionaries over there, it's not going to happen. They are the ones, like Alma 15 says, they're going to be taught by their own nation and tongue, and that's how the gospel grows. So please remember the missionary boards in your financial stewardship. And frankly, I want to remind you, missionary work was the number one thing tithing was to be used for, not your local congregation's local budget. Missionary work was the number one thing. It was sent to the general church, and it was not local paying your electric bill. That's where your offerings came in. So I'm going to throw that out there. Yep. So if you give to ARM, you'll see on ARMs, on each country, they have local budget. So if you just make a general contribution to ARM, it's going to go to this budget. If you give an earmark for Widow's Mite or for Lasana's tuition or the Nigeria something, then it's gonna go to that. If you just send a check to ARM, it's gonna go towards their budget, which includes the local budgets. Same thing with SEAM, okay? They will have that amount there. So for right now, we got before us then the ARM budget that has been submitted to us. I would ask if anybody has any questions on the ARM budget. And if not, I'll call for a vote to support the ARM budget. Those, huh? Do we need a motion? Okay, Benji makes a motion, and Jay Havener seconds it to support the ARM budget. So those in favor of the ARM budget, please show your hands. Any opposed? Just a moment, I'm waiting online. You can come to the microphone if you'd like. Okay, ARM has been approved. Yes.
I'm a little bit confused about what you just said about the local budgets and such. So if we donate money, let's put it that way, to ARM, that goes for everybody. If we wanted it to go to, let's say we wanted to help support the local budget of Kenya or Nigeria or whatever, how do we make that just to that particular item?
You can do that, and what you're going to do, though, is you're taking the board out of it, and you're classifying that one is more important than another, which is fine, you've got the right, but what's going to happen then is that those funds, if you say, I want this to go just to Uganda's local budget, that's what it'll get used for, okay? But you make it out to ARM, or you can make it out to the CRE, but you make it out and you put in there Kenya local budget, Nigeria local budget, if that's the way you want it to go.
Then how does that affect the figures that you have there for local? In other words, if we end up giving more than's on the budget, does that get spread somewhere else?
No, it will always be used to that. So let's look at this here. So the Tanzania local budget is $500. If you contribute $1,000 to the Tanzania local budget, then $500 is going to get used for sure, and then the board will decide, along with communication with them and so forth, when to send the other funds over there. And so it's a lot of communication of what needs to happen there, but that's where the board does it, and they do a good job. The next one is LAM, and I want to share with you that the resolution number 2 was in direct regard to LAM because we have not gotten for years communication from them, what's happening, who's going, when they're going, or anything. And this is what created the resolution 2. Now, Benji had a long conversation with them last night. Would you like to address that now? Because I think it kind of ties to whether or not how we proceed on resolution 2 also, but at the same time, we've got their budget here also, and you guys can determine what you want to do.
Had a conversation with Brother David Schaff on the LAM board, and while he doesn't represent the entire board, he represents a lot of things that they're looking for. And they've had conversations, and they feel that LAM is moving in a different direction, which is why they have not been sending reports to us. Their intention is to continue providing ministry, and in Latin America, they just have been talking about what they would do, and recently had considered whether they wanted to continue under the CRE organization. They haven't made any movement toward that. And so in our conversation, they seemed open to the idea of if you had a choice of either presenting reports to us or coming under their own tax ID or a different tax ID, their preference is to move to a different tax ID and no longer be under the Conference of Restoration Elders. And so I don't know if you have anything else you wanted me to share from my conversation with them.
No. So we have the LAM budget before you. Yes, Jay? You moved to table their budget? Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second? Just a second. Joe seconds it.
Is there any conversation on it?
That's what I'm trying to find, is a table debatable. I think it is, so go ahead, Doug.
Doug Smith, I rise to speak against the tabling. It's been submitted to us, and rather than tabling it based on what we think they might do or what they're talking about doing, I think we just need to go ahead and accept it, and then if something happens, I mean, it doesn't affect us whether we accept it or not, and I think just the optics of it would be best for us to accept it.
Okay. No, what Doug's doing is just
Against
speaking
the
against
tabling.
tabling. Any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion before us to table the LAM budget. We're going to ask those in favor of tabling the LAM budget, please show your hands. Those opposed? Please hold your hands up a minute, I can't. Okay. And online, I'll wait. Is that their vote?
Sorry, I stepped out to go to the board meeting. Balance, give us just a second.
Okay. I would like to have a count again here in this room. I've got online. Those that are in favor of tabling, show your hands. Those opposed? Okay, it fails. Okay, so the LAM budget is before you. Is there any other discussion on it? Those in favor of supporting the LAM budget, please show your hands. Those opposed? Let's see, which one of you guys have moved that we approve the LAM budget? Dad, wasn't that you? And Doug? No, it wasn't Doug. Yeah, Doug, you seconded it? Dad, would you make that as a motion to approve the LAM budget? I move we approve the LAM budget. Okay, and Doug, did you second that? I thought so. See, that's discernment. Okay. Did we get the count together yet for the what? Oh, yeah, that's right. Did we get the count together on the? Not yet? Okay. Okay. SEAM board, we got page 9. SEAM, is it, Richard, anything you want to add to the? No. Okay. Again, the same thing I want to just express to you. They're starting their year out with $889, and they got a lot of ministry. How many members do we have right now in Philippines, Richard? Okay, 1,500 or so are in the Philippines, and so you see the budget here, and so I'd like to, Richard, you making it a motion then to approve the the Philippine SEAM budget? Okay, is there a second? Brother Gary Wilson. Any other discussion on the SEAM budget? Okay, those in favor of supporting the SEAM budget, please show your hands. Any opposed? On page 10, the gym budget, Greater European Ministries. Dad, anything you want to share about that? Okay, we got the online have approved SEAM. Thank you. So you have the gym budget. Dad, do you move it as a budget? Okay. Anybody like to second it? Brother Ray seconds it. The gym budget is before you. If you have any questions, I will tell you that the trip in May, I would really appreciate your prayers. We have some non-members that have specifically requested a day visit to come and spend an entire day with them. And it's difficult ministry. And so I just ask you keep us in your prayers. And also for the saints in England, we were going to go over there, and they said that September would be better. They would love to have a couple to go over to England. And so we do have some outreach that's going on around there. If anybody would like to go to England, please see my dad or myself, and we can get that in the works. We need more workers. Those in favor of the gym budget, please show your hands. Any opposed? Also passes online. FSM. Brother Bob, anything you want to add to?
Answer any questions anybody might have.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? In fact, I'm going to take Bob. We're going to present the FSM budget as move it. Who would like to second that? Dale. Thank you. Thank you. Dale seconds it. The big thing that I know Bob and I and the whole board would like to point out to you is I want you to see down here on the bottom, ending fund balance. Now we have made some, we just approved another one, so we got $10,000 less than that, but we got over $100,000 that has been contributed that we can use to help people get out of this bondage. Now you look out here on our display, and it talks about people drowning in debt. Now I cannot believe that in the entire church we've got 35 people that have debt problems, that have credit card debt that they're struggling with. If you know of people in your congregation that need help, that needs financial counseling, please get with us, because we would really like to help people. And so please, any questions, any comments on the FSM? Then those in favor of the FSM budget, please show your hands. And any opposed? Okay, it approved also. Do we have it yet? Oh, we didn't, I got down here, approval, oh, we already did that, okay. I got everything on our list done so far, so we can go to the resolutions if you want. We're still waiting on the results to come back on the coordinating council. So I'd like to take you to section 2, right? Section 3, I'm sorry. It seemed like the one that was going to be the easiest was the Resolution 3, and so if it's okay with you, I'd like to bring Resolution 3 to the floor. Is there somebody that would like to bring? Benji Pedersen would bring resolution, and Don Norman would second that. So Resolution 3 is going to be on the floor. I'm going to take a privilege to share with you something here. In 2012, Brother Frank Dipple was asked to preach here, and he had a experience that I believe ties to this resolution. I don't think it takes it away, but I believe we received counsel now 13 years ago, and perhaps many of us may have forgotten about that, but I think it's important to pass it on. If we decide to add this counsel, I think it's important to include this to that counsel. And so let me grab this microphone for you, and can you get him that mic? And if you could read that, not the election. Yeah, we'll come back to the election.
Read that now.
The crop.
Testimony?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, testimony from Frank Dipple. Brother Richard Neal called to ask if I would be willing to preach at conference in 2012. I felt as though I should, but would like to have had a confirmation from the Spirit. I thought if it is Tuesday evening then it was from the Spirit. Richard said, I would like you to do Tuesday evening. I knew I was supposed to preach that evening. While preparing for the message, I was led to Isaiah 58 during the reading of this scripture around verse 7, where it speaks of the glory of God. In the middle of the page, it appeared open to a glorious scene. It was the greenest grass I have ever seen. The sky was a brilliant blue and the clouds like cotton. I walked up the incline of a hill, and when I reached the top, I gazed upon a beautiful valley. The green grass and blue skies continued. However, there was a huge cornfield, and I was encouraged to approach the corn. I walked down the hill toward the corn, and the closer I got, the more I could see how spectacular this corn was. I asked the Lord, so what has this corn have to do with anything I am preparing for? The stalks were extremely tall and the ears were huge, and I thought only God could have created a field, grass, and sky like this. I reached a point very near the corn stalks, and they began to be transformed. Every stalk of corn changed into a person. However, they were people who worked at different trades or professional endeavors. Several were teachers, several carpenters, several masons, nurses, doctors, ministers, pianists, mechanics, and so it goes. The Lord spoke to my mind and said, these are my crops, given for the welfare of my saints journeying to Zion. The saints already in Zion need to prepare for the coming of their brothers and sisters, survey the branches, catalog the skills and talents, record the assets and stores they have already prepared. This resource will be valuable at their coming. You will know where the skills, talents, resources, and helpful saints are located. Thereby, you can direct the gathering saints to places of safety and nourishment. Received April 2012, presented June 2012.
Thank you very much. Brother? Yes, I think that would be good. Let's include that in the, I wonder what would be best, in the daily tidings or in the minutes? Let's just include it in the minutes, but we'll try to get some copies out here too, so that others can make sure they get whatever copies. So we have before you resolution number 3. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any?
How do we handle amendments? Form 3 or Form 2 submitted an amendment.
Okay, then come down and make it as an amendment.
Quorum 2 made an amendment with a few changes, and I have provided that to Jason. Do you have that available to send to Kevin? All right, now Jay, do you want to tell our changes? Jay, I don't know if I remember. I wasn't paying as good attention as Jay was.
Well, I just got a hold of Sean because he was our secretary and we forgot to hand that to
Okay.
Jason,
So
You
we
wanna-
added a word that was missing.
Do you want to defer this for tomorrow?
It's up
It's
there.
up there.
Okay.
All right, so scrolling down towards the bottom, I believe it was the original amendment, had the second to last paragraph. There was missing to be provided, I think is what it said.
Yeah, that one.
So it's just a wording change there, and then Jay, I think you got notes on the other two.
Yeah, I do have notes. I don't have the exact language, but I will speak to where our minds were at on the,
Well, let's get the amendment out there first, and then we
Okay.
can speak to it. Okay, let's,
Down in the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, fourth resolved, be it further resolved that the council, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's, work with the member.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. So,
yeah.
in that fourth resolved, that the council would work, they added the words, with, and in between with and local branches, the members originating branch, and, yeah, that was added. And then, in the next resolve, or added one more resolve, a new resolve, which is next on the line, be it further resolved that if available, those of the office of bishop would assist the council under the authority of their office. And in the last resolve, adding the words after the first word that, we adhere to. And then I missed one, Kevin, right up in the third resolved, right above the first change we made, they added the word be after the word to, and informational packets to be was added. Yeah, those were the additions.
okay, let's start at the top and just make sure we've pointed these out one at a time here. I mean, the top of the amendments. The First Amendment,
Oh, yeah, the First Amendment is simply adding the word be after the word to in the third resolved.
That was a grammatical.
Yeah,
yeah.
just a grammatical thing maybe, but, and then the next amendment, or the next resolve, was adding the words, the members originating branch and after the word with, yep. And then adding a whole new resolved, as it's stated there on the screen. And then in the last resolve, adding the words we adhere to after the first word that.
Okay.
And-
That,
Yeah, there's a grammatical error there. We adhere to, yeah, take the out. And admonition instead of admonishment, admonishes.
Why did we take the out?
It's okay. We adhere to the Lord's admonition.
Admonition. Yeah,
So we're not taking the first out.
no,
The thus stays in.
thus, yeah.
So Kevin, we adhere to the Lord's admonition.
Yeah. That the gathering not be in haste.
Admonition that.
And then put that after admonition.
Okay?
So I'll speak to the major changes in the resolve. We felt like while we're admonished and we should gather as we are led to gather, what we see is that when a couple of situations, for example, up in Michigan, where the pastor decided that it was time for him to gather, he left no priesthood behind to shepherd the flock. And so, you know, if there's going to be somebody, for example, out of Oakwood that wants to gather, I think it's important that there's some communication there, because I might be aware of some pinch points that that family has that could affect their ability to gather. So we feel like there needs to be a two-way communication there. And so that was the reason that we added that in there. And the other is that I think that the office of bishop ought to be utilized in this process. And so we added that in there.
Okay, the conversation will be limited to the amendment. So is there, anybody have any questions or comments on the amendment? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and vote on the amendment. This just for the amendment. Those in favor of the amendment that is before you, please show your hands. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Now, the motion is before you as amended. Is there any other amendments that you would like to see done? Or are you ready to vote on it as amended? Then we're going to go ahead and vote on resolution number 3 as amended. Those in favor, please show your hands. Those opposed? Passes unanimously. Brother Vim in here? Okay. For which? Okay. Okay, what was your question, Benji?
We'll have to accept nominations at some point.
Yes, for the gathering council, and so, actually, do you have names for that? I'm just asking you if you did, because I was gonna go ahead and nominate, or share what the coordinating council was. Do you?
I have names.
Okay, let me go ahead and announce the coordinating council. Those that'll be serving on the coordinating council this next year for those 5 positions is Doug Smith and Eric Odita, Howard Parker, Dan Schwartz, and Don Norman. So looks like we've got some more people for domestic outreach too we can add, so. Anyway, Brother Benji, if you got some names for the gathering council, let's have it.
I realized yesterday when we were looking at this resolution that we would have to put some names forward for it if we wanted to have it go forward. I started reaching out, and I have 4 that have confirmed that they are willing to let their names stand. I have Sister Deborah Berquist, and I chose her because she has moved into the area and has had a lot of experience personally in gathering in and helping those who do gather in. Brother Dan Beckman, he has a great interest in this and the principles of the storehouse and has a lot of knowledge. Dylan Levine, he has moved in from the area and would have some experience and has interest in helping. And Brother Chris Campbell, he is a realtor and has had assisted people in the gathering. And so those are the 4 names that I have confirmation that they are willing to let their names stand on this council.
Aaron? You? Aaron Smith?
Aaron's on that coordinating, he won't say yes to it. But I would gladly not. He can be the liaison.
There you go. There you go. So when the coordinating council gets together, you can suggest to be the liaison between that. Are there other nominations? Joe? I would love to have a bishop on there. Fantastic. Thank you, Joe. One of the suggestions that was made to me earlier is that we make a list of every realtor in the restoration so that the people that are gathering have a whole list. And we want to be careful on that we, yes, brother?
I don't know if
We can't hear online.
I don't know if it may be wisdom to have a member from the domestic missionary board be nominated to these, and one from the international missionary board to be a part of that council.
That's the only problem with the international one is that it's made up of simply the missionary boards. But the domestic, I think, is a great idea too. But anyway, were you making that as a motion? So your motion is that there would be a person from domestic outreach and a person from International Missionary Board on this council too. Is there a second to that motion? Brother Jack seconds it. It's open for discussion. If there's no, Jake, come on down. There was a question online about Aaron. Aaron volunteered to be on this council, but he's also on the coordinating council, so he can't be on 2 councils. So the discussion was he could be the liaison on the coordinating council.
So my suggestion would be whoever's on the domestic council for the Center Place area, that would be the ideal person that would serve on that, on the new council.
Okay.
I don't know how this will be, but we have had people relocating from Africa. I have 2 people, one person who's right now in New York. Another one is planning to come to the Kansas City area, relocating with the family to come to work. These are professionals who are coming to work. And sometimes they're asking many questions. And some of them may not settle here permanently, but they're going to be here for a lengthy period of time. And some of them are really, very steady saints who are very well grounded. And I think if they could have somebody that could be able to help them to plug into where things are here, that would be very, very helpful. And maybe this could be even beyond just the gathering here alone, but even settling elsewhere, which is close. Yeah, thanks.
Super. Thank you.
Clarification on the amendment, it would be to make them ex officio, meaning they're additional to the 7 that would be on the council, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we knew the numbers of people that would be on the council. Thank you.
Is that right, what you had? So these would just be ex officio, these would be on top of the 7, is that correct? Okay, so there actually would be 9. There you go. Any other discussion on the amendment? The amendment was simply that we also add 1 ex officio member from the domestic outreach and 1 from the international council. So I'm going to call for a vote on the amendment. Those in favor of the amendment, please show your hands. Any opposed? The amendment was that there would be an ex officio member on from the domestic outreach and the international. Okay, and it also passed online. So this is before you now then, so we've got Deborah Bergquist, Dan Beckman, Dylan Levine, Chris Campbell, Joe Burkhart, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can. We'll bring this back tomorrow, give an opportunity for you to talk to other people tonight, and we can do that. Anything? So we're just going to table this. We're going to defer this until tomorrow. If it's okay with you, I think we're just going to stop here at this point. Give us a few extra minutes, Brother Danny. You going to give us a historian report of all the wonderful things we've done this last year?
This is just for information's sake. I wasn't here yesterday morning for the meeting and the information regarding the headquarters of the CRE possible move. You have a couple of locations there. I want you to be aware that in the Joseph Smith III Foundation that an ongoing discussion is happening and within the committee itself regarding possibility of making the home itself a possible site for the headquarters going forward in the future. Just wanted to keep that bit of information and attach it to the minutes.
When do you think that building would be heated and air conditioned and have water and?
Yeah.
When?
We're talking about that. We're talking about that now, but we understand the immediacy of the need to make a move. So, but we've been discussing that for some time. But I wanted to just make you all aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would encourage that group then, if that's going to be a possibility, we need to get some good information on it pretty quick. Richard?
Being involved with that house, I think that's a bit optimistic in terms of the timing we're looking at, because of the fact that we could be going anytime, and we're not funded that way, and but we are having those discussions. But don't hold your breath.
Well, I would also tell you, if you got a budget together that you could say, we need $50,000 or whatever you need, it'd be a good time to tell it while we're in conference, so that these people could just write out the check to you and we could be done. So, I see Eric was just reaching right in to grab his pocket real quick, so. Okay. Any other things for today? What I'd like to do then, we're going to close, and good brother here, if you will come and close us with prayer. Rick Johansson from Belton Congregation, and we will have our lunch break. And please make sure, I know these ladies from Outreach Branch are working so hard to provide for us, and they're doing a marvelous job. Just make sure you tell them thank you and see if we can help in any way. But Brother Rick, let's all stand and we'll have a closing prayer and a blessing on the food.
Our dear, gracious, most loving Heavenly Father, we come before Thee this day seeking Thy approval in the discussions that we've had and the desires that we have to continue forward as is pleasing in Thy kingdom. If there are mistakes that we have made, they are the mistakes of men. I pray, Lord, that Thou would give us correction and understanding for those things that You'd have us to do. Continue to abide with us as we seek to be the men and the women here also that desire to do Thy bidding in this portion of the kingdom. I pray that You'd continue to be with our brother Brian as he continues to lead these meetings, that he would be given an impress of Thy Holy Spirit. And Lord, we truly desire to know the directions and the ideals and ideas that You would place upon our hearts. Touch us, even if they would be but small and simple, by simple means. Continue to abide with us as we continue to convene in Thy name. Lord, we thank You for all of the brothers and sisters across this land and across this world that desire to thrust in their sickle with all their might. Dismiss us at this hour, O Lord, until we return, is our prayer and our hope that we would do so with Thy Spirit guiding our way. And we pray these things in Christ's most holy name. Amen.